You're listening to the Cancer Letter podcast. The Cancer Letter is a weekly independent magazine covering oncology since 1973. I'm your host, Paul Goldberg, editor and publisher of the Cancer Letter.
And I'm your host, Jacquelyn Cobb, associate editor of the Cancer Letter. We'll be bringing you the latest stories, groundbreaking research, and critical conversations shaping oncology.
So let's get going.
Significant progress has been made in developing breakthrough treatments for blood cancer, yet many patients are unable to access these advances when they need them. At Blood Cancer United, they're committed to changing this reality. That's why they launched the Equity in Access Research Program to generate evidence that drives meaningful changes in healthcare policy and practice so more patients can benefit from the advances in cancer care and live fulfilling, complete lives. Now, they're inviting researchers to apply for their latest request for proposal, understanding how health insurance affects equity and access to care for individuals diagnosed with blood cancer. They're looking for studies that examine how insurance status, coverage design, and policy changes shape access and lead to actionable solutions. Letters of intent are due September 10th at 3 p.m. Eastern. Join Blood Cancer United's pre-application webinar on June 17th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern to learn more. Equitable access to cancer care starts with evidence and the commitment to act. Visit bloodcancerunited.org/equity-in-access to register and apply. Hello, Paul. How are you?
Hi, Jacquelyn. I'm back from ASCO, kind of digging out in the office.
Yes.
It's quite something.
Yes, the ASCO this year was crazy. That's what we're going to be talking about. But I'm going to have to be hearing from you because I did not make it to ASCO. So I am really sad. Of course, it was this ASCO that I missed when there's, what would you call that? I was sick. Yeah. Yes, to be clear. I was sick. I did not choose to miss this ASCO. The plenary that I was talking, I'm jumping ahead, but the standing ovation was how long, Paul? I was listening to it this morning.
I don't know.
It was probably, I think it was over a minute. It was
a while. I mean, there are occasionally standing ovations.
Yeah.
This one was incredibly meaningful. And actually, the more the better.
Yeah, true, seriously.
and comparing it with, Herceptin, I don't know. I mean, that it just gets you into some pseudoscience real quick.
Interesting. I was not thinking of Herceptin. Honestly, I was thinking of the EGFR. I was thinking about the one standing ovation that I saw, but I wasn't even trying to compare. I'm not trying to compare either. No. All I'm saying is that it was very long, so long that Dr. Brian Wolpin was like, what did he say? He was like, I didn't account for that in my talk, in my time here. It was, and then the moderator said, we won't penalize you for that because it's so understandable why the entire crowd, how many people are in that crowd, Paul, for people who don't know? But for people who don't know about ASCO plenaries, thousands, perhaps tens of thousands in that plenary room, would you say?
I think at least 3.
At least 3,000? Okay, let's say 3,000.
I don't know. I really do not know. Let's call ASCO and find out. But seriously, it was the full room. The entire place was filled. Yeah. And it was just filling up, interestingly, towards the last one.
Yeah. Okay, do you want to tell? I can do the headlines later. I feel like I want to keep.
Well, I think we're going to do a huge story on it, obviously, next week. But because this week, rather, the implications are incredible, and it's interesting. We're talking about that rather than.
I know.
Rather than what happened last week, which also was a good issue. We've been doing some good work.
Heck yeah.
It was like seeing pancreatic cancer start to budge.
Yep.
That's really what I saw when I saw the curves and when I saw the applause, because everybody saw the same thing. That mother is starting to budge.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
That will be our story for the next. I don't know how long it's going to keep budging.
Hopefully all at once and for not very long, right? Like hopefully it's a very short time.
It might start sliding down.
Yes. That was, I think, and again, we have to be careful not to like sort of, give too much of the teaser away of the story, but I feel like
it's been out.
I mean, yeah, of course. But that's what I was going to say is that we wrote a story about the results of the trial when they were originally published just in a press release. And that was already like, what was the word? This is the tipping point, I think was the quote that I had gotten. It was like, oh my gosh, it's like really, like you're saying, Paul, it's beginning to budge. We're finally making progress. And now as we look forward, right, there's so much more, there's so many more avenues to really keep going forward in this. It's really just the tip of the iceberg. But when I was watching, sadly, again, on my screen instead of in the beautiful plenary stadium, was that I hadn't seen the curves. And they are like, I think that's what it was, right? Is that people had known the like overall that it like doubled survival, right? Like we knew the numbers, but seeing the visual of the curves that came on the screen and everyone just, like
it's
I didn't even think Yeah. Yes. It was so powerful. I don't know. It's especially just like in oncology, like the Kaplan-Meier curves are just so like quintessential. Yeah, it was powerful. And it's such a rare, again, not that rare, but too rare that we get such a celebratory moment in oncology, God, and in pancreatic cancer, we've never have.
More and more frequent.
Yeah. So tell me about what the potential avenues. I feel like I
mean, that's for next week.
Yes.
Let's just sort of talk about that, but then you're writing the story about that, so you'll be doing that next week, talking about where it's all going, because you've been covering the pancreatic cancer story for months and months and months and years.
Yeah.
So you are the lead, so I don't want to and can't really.
Well, I think what I mean more is that just that, this drug is it's the first time this whole class of drugs has shown like serious improvements in survival, right? And so it's like, but it's not just one drug, or it is one drug, but again, it's this tipping point because it is this class of drugs that is now, again, not that, they're ready yet or whatever, but it's just, again, it's this tipping point. It's this budging moment. It's this one outcome is not necessarily the end of the story is, I guess, just my point. So
yeah, and you've written once, and there's still a lot of really incredible stuff to come very, very quickly. Mm-hmm. But as you know, you should be the one talking, not me filling up the room.
No.
So, you're used to it. But here's the thing here that's really important to remember, especially now where we are politically. So forget science, politics. Don't forget science, actually. But
no,
politics.
It's just funny. It's like, yeah, you can tell me that. That's I deserve that. Yes.
Yeah. So the thing is that this thing is connected in some way, and we should actually show how to the KRAS initiative that NCI did, that Frederick, and that was done by Harold Varmus, and there was work done before. And a decision was made, to dump money into this, to invest.
Yeah.
And NCI did it. And this is the payoff. There's a lot of stories like that to be told. And I think we need to tell this story in the Cancer History Project.
Yeah. I mean, it's so, like I said, it's so quintessential. It's like fundamental oncology history, I feel, no?
Yeah. I think we should actually do that. I think we should talk to folks who could help us make it happen. And I think that whole story, reconstructed in interviews, because, federal spending on cancer research is money really well spent.
Yeah. And that's what, I mean, I think it's like, this is something that we've kind of talked about, I feel like, almost last year, actually, was just this idea that we have an understanding of, this abstract idea, right? That NCI dollars help innovation, right? But like in this situation, like you're saying, Paul, like to actually track exactly how NCI funding literally like led to this outcome. And like you said, we've done that before, and there's a lot of that to do because NCI does, contribute to so much innovation and again, in the sort of, especially in the basic science realm. So yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. That's literally what I'm doing. That's what I was doing earlier today. What I'll be doing after this podcast is spending time kind of tracing that drug specifically. Because I mean, yeah, like RAS is a huge thing, like you said, Paul. So, and it's not just pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's a big stone that's been rolling down the hill, and the faster, the better. Yes. So,
yes. Like a snowball. Yeah. Lots of imagery. I like this.
Lots of imagery. And I think what we should do is kind of go back to the right NCABs and I think they're filmed. I don't know. They've got to be. That's not that long ago. Mm-mm. And people were even saying, well, why KRAS? You can look at other things. Well, yeah, you could have. And maybe we should have looked together with KRAS. But I'm glad we looked at KRAS. We, the American people, I'm not... not we journalists.
Well, actually, that's so funny. It was in multiple myeloma, but technically my master's was in KRAS. So that's why I feel like so, I don't know, excited about it on a more personal level. It's like, oh yeah, like I was taught it was undruggable, and now here we are. It's druggable, like literally.
It's druggable. Druggable, and it's going to become more druggable. And fast.
Yes, so, hopefully, if we have continued research.
And pancreatic cancer, holy mackerel!
I know.
I was there when people were saying, "Oh, melanoma, forget you can't." But then suddenly there was stuff melanoma.
Yeah,
it's multiple myeloma. My God, what a catastrophe that was! And look at what's happening now. I mean, there's a lot to be said. And
Yes, everybody, all listeners, you're getting our. We couldn't in our good conscience simply go back to our last week's issue when we have all of this excitement from ASCO happening.
The last week's issue was really cool.
Yes, I'll give just a quick overview of that. It's a little bit late in the podcast, but our main story was an episode of The Directors, which is, as you've heard me say every month. Basically, I'm not going to say too much about it because you can go and listen to the full Directors podcast. That's also on YouTube, anywhere that you're listening to here. It's adjacent. It's somewhere nearby, and we'll link it in the description as well. But this month's episode of The Directors was unique because we had principal investigators from NCORE sites rather than from academic cancer center directors. So it was Amaranthia Curtis and Jeffrey L. Barenberg, and they had a crazy conversation. So nuanced. We learned a lot, basically, is what I'll say. Both listening and writing it. And even just like copy editing it, I learned a lot. You and Claire were really because the story is talking a lot about sort of the bureaucratic challenges that face clinical research and other things and clinical care in the community. And so we had to become familiar with some of these bureaucratic details, and they are challenging. So that was that conversation, but it was really, really engaging. Not a boring story, even for all that. So our second story was just a one study story looking at, it was observational, very sort of retrospective study, but it just had an interesting sort of note, I guess is what I'll say, finding that breast cancer patients who elected to use what is it? Complementary and alternative therapies is the full phrase. I've shortened it to CAM in my head. And have it reported to the database that the study authors used to do their retrospective analysis. In that case, there seemed to be a decrease in survival and a decrease in the use of some traditional therapies for breast cancer, like radiation. So obviously, I can't hedge that enough, but it is an interesting sort of thing to keep in mind as CAM, complementary and alternative therapies, sort of come in from the outskirts and are just more popular, more in the sort of mental in the mindset of people in the general public, for oncologists just to be reminded to really have a conversation that it's not necessarily a replacement for traditional therapies, even though they might be. There is some evidence that adding complementary and alternative medicine to traditional therapies can be beneficial. So all that to say, still very much an open question, but just sort of another a piece of evidence to add to the conversation. So that was fun. And then we had a trials and tribulations about rural cancer disparities persisting and how to sort of actually approach that. Really cool, comprehensive story. He literally lists out, I think it was 4 like specific things that we can do to close the gap. And then we had a sponsored article from UK Marquee about theranostics. So that's a little late in the pod, but that's the headlines.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about ENCORE, because really this is the week where we better take a good look at how well we are treating our clinical researchers.
Mm-hmm. You're so right.
Yeah,
Mom. That's so true.
And we better keep looking at it. And I'm speaking again as an American citizen.
Yeah.
Not more so than a reporter, but it's hard to compare those things. I mean, there's no real boundary here. But but seriously, these folks are heroes.
Mm-hmm. Literally,
and they should be treated well and respected and well funded, because guess what? You cannot do ENCORE brings in about 1/3 of the clinical trials participants. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't be able to answer the questions we're answering, and we better come up with more money for them and continue to come up with more money for them.
Yeah. And even just the bureaucracy thing, like I forget exactly the stat, but she was saying, Dr. Curtis was saying that there was it her personal, she did a study? I'm sorry.
She did. Well, she put together she plotted all of the requirements and when they came in and how much of it's a great story. So she has a slide. It's an undecipherable slide. It shouldn't be a slide. It should be a book. Something other than a slide, please. Yeah. But it's fun to put it on one sheet of paper. Yeah. And just look at it and say, "Oh, geez."
Yeah. To like feel your like emotional reaction to it, like, oh. But what it is bureaucratic requirements, right? That's what it was. It was like it's like more red tape, and it was like just a lot in recent years was the takeaway. Is that there's increased burden? Yeah.
Watch the space, because she has promised to write a piece about it, and. And I can't wait to see it. She even says it in there, when they dig in a little bit. She says, "Oh, I'll just wait." I'll wait.
All right, it worked.
She's now in Greece and vacationing. Wow. And when she comes back, we should probably remind her. Do you want to remind her?
I'll remind her. I'll write it down. I love when these turn into editorial meetings. That's the best.
Yeah. See, everything turns into editorial meeting. Life is an editorial meeting. So the other tidbit was your alternative medicine story, your complementary. Yeah. This was the week where I think I earned my keep as an editor, because I took out the word traditional and used the word allopathic.
I accept. I think you're right. Like, we should not have done that. But in my defense, that is what the
word that they use.
That's what they use. But yes, it is very. That's a little misleading, and especially how we've written about it. Like just the way that complementary and alternative medicines have sort of entered in. There is sort of. How would you describe it, Paul? Like traditional is a synonym that people have used to describe
traditional is traditional medicine literally means things like grasses and teas and St. John's wort that we should all be taking.
Listen, actually, just in case, I don't know how St. John's wort don't take without talking to your doctor. Please.
Yeah, no, I'm making a bad joke. It'll calm us down, put it in the water. Better not. Yeah. No, we did have once a pretty good story about by actually Michael Friedman about it was his modest proposal to put the antidepressants in the water supply.
Oh,
don't take out the fluoride. No. Don't take it. Put in
some antidepressants. Yes, I think I remember that now.
Former acting FDA commissioner, so he should know. And he got it's a good story. If anybody wants to look up Michael Friedman,
I'll link it in the show notes. That's actually very easy to do.
And thank you so much. Next week, watch this space. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. It's going to be even more celebratory, even more exciting, because we're all.
You can write about all the rogues in the field all you want, but you know what? There are some really great people who are really moving this field forward, and we're all lucky to see this, and covering this is a privilege. It's a great time to be a reporter, because not only is there all kinds of nonsense happening, but there's also this.
Yes, you're so right. You put it beautifully, Paul. Thank you so much. And listeners, I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us on the Cancer Letter podcast, where we explore the stories shaping the future of oncology. For more in-depth reporting and analysis, visit us at cancerletter.com. With over 200 site license subscriptions, you may already have access through your workplace. If you found this episode valuable, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share. Together, we'll keep the conversation going.
Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and thank you for listening.